Hello everyone, I'm Kiki. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be using just these in order to try and make a cool artwork. I've never done anything where I've blended all three of these mediums together. I've used all of them individually but never together, so that'll be interesting. I do already have something pre-sketched out, and but before I start right into that, I'm going to get a different piece of paper and see how well I can get these three things to mix together, because again, I've never done that before. And then I will hop into the picture and we'll see how it turns out. So as you can see, I actually have two papers here. This is not the piece of paper I'm going to be using. I just wanted to put it here so you could see the line work that I'm going to be doing a little bit better, because it's a little light on here, because I didn't want to ink this, because again, I'm just using my crayola stuff. But I really liked the line work, so I put it onto another piece of paper as well. And I may try to do this in another medium or two at some other point. Probably not in this video, but at some other point. So that's something to look forward to. So, without further ado, I'm going to get a different piece of paper, because I don't want to muck around on this one first. See what I can do with those things, and then get started. So during my little gabble thing, I tried putting down the crayon first for one, and then the pencil first for another, and then layered up on top of them, and found that it was best to start with the pencil first, and then go on top with crayon, and then the marker, and then once those were down, I was able to go back over it with the pencil and then just sort of keep layering it and building it up till it was a more solid and vibrant color. I think my light-handedness with my art supplies was both good and bad for this, depending on the different part. Good because it let me not make too many mistakes. It was easier to fix things, but bad because it meant I had to add in more layers, which isn't necessarily bad, it just takes a little bit more time. But I had a lot of fun with this, and it was definitely interesting trying to make sure I was grabbing the right colors and making sure that I didn't go too heavy with the marker anywhere and overpower everything else. Unfortunately, the brown marker was way too dark compared to the color I needed for the tail tips, and the blue marker I had was too dark to use as accents on the Alolan Ninetales as well. So for the most part, I just used the yellow marker, the orange marker, and the red markers for the piece. Oh, and green for the grass as well. But I had a lot of fun with this. I think it took me about 4-ish hours to do. It was about a half hour-ish for each of the Pokemon, and then another half hour, 45 minutes for the grass, and again for the sky. So that's 2 hours for the Pokemon, and then another hour-ish, hour and a half for the background. So all in all, not too bad. I did try at one point to use my eraser to try and get a little bit more highlights in there. Didn't work too well, just because of the mediums I was layering. But I did manage to use the white crayon and pencil to get some of those highlights back in. The Alolan Vulpix and Ninetales were a little tricky, just because most of them is white, especially the Vulpix. There's not really any color on the Alolan Vulpix. But I still think the Ninetales turned out really well. I wish the Vulpix had a little bit more color to her, but it's still Once I put the green from the grass in, it helped a little bit, but she still looks really plain compared to the other ones. And unfortunately, the blues I had to work with were the same blues that I used for the Ninetales, so the sky also sort of blends in, and her tail just kind of looks like another fluffy cloud, which isn't necessarily bad, but at the same time. But yeah, no, I had fun with this, despite the fact that I am not a huge fan of crayons. I'm not a fan of the smell. I don't mind the waxiness of them. I don't like the smell of them. I know that's a really weird reason not to like them, but I don't like the smell. And after working on it for however long I was working on it, it was just like, my room smells like crayon, yuck. And they're also not the most fun thing for me to work with, but they were the one thing that helped me make them look, the picture look more solid. They filled in the holes, kind of a thing. But yeah, I like how it all turned out. I think I've said that about 4 times, and I think I said "but yeah" several times as well. That should be on a shirt. But yeah. I had a lot of fun with it, as I said, and I really like how it turned out, and I like the design of the layout of the picture. The one thing I do kind of wish I would have done is switched the Vulpixes to have the Alolan Vulpix with the normal Ninetales and the normal Vulpix with the Alolan Ninetales instead. I think that would have put a better color dynamic into the picture, but I didn't. Oh well, too late now. I think that's all I have to say. See you at the end. Alright, and that brings us to the end of my Crayola only challenge, and I have to say that I think it turned out fairly well. Considering I don't use colored pencils very often, I haven't touched crayons in years, and I don't really use markers all that much. Not that I really use markers too much in here. Mainly just for the regular Ninetales and Vulpix, and for the grass a bit. The blue was a little bit strong to be used anywhere other than on the eyes for the Alolan Ninetales. But all in all, I think it turned out really well, and I think I managed to blend the mediums together where I did use them. And I really like the result, and as I said earlier, I am probably going to be taking the line work for this and using it for something else. It's going to be a future video, which I hope you will stick around for by hitting the subscribe button and the bell, and join me on my art journey. I do hope to see you around. Bye.